Good morning friends. So today I will discuss about a new topic, that is immunity. In this coronavirus situation, we all are telling about immunity boosting, all that. So what is immunity? Immunity is classified into two. First one is active immunity and second one is passive immunity. Active immunity is again divided into three: humoral immunity, cellular immunity, and combination of the both. And second one is passive immunity. So first I will discuss about active immunity. What is active immunity? Active immunity is the immunity which an individual develops as a result of infection or by specific immunization. Means if I got some infection, against that infection I will develop immunity, or if some immunization is given to me, against that immunization I will produce antibodies and it will produce the immunity. This type of immunity is called active immunity. Active immunity may be acquired in three ways: following clinical infection like chickenpox, rubella and measles, following subclinical or inapparent infection like polio and diphtheria, and following immunization with an antigen which may be a killed vaccine, a live attenuated vaccine or toxoid. So again, against any infection or against any immunization, this type of immunity is called active immunity. Next, I am coming to the immune response. So there is primary immune response and secondary immune response. So what is primary immune response? When an antigen is administered for the first time to an animal or human who has never been exposed to it. In this type of case, primary response occur. The nature and extent of primary response to an antigen is determined by a number of factors: dose of antigen, nature of antigen, route of administration, adjuvant, nutritional status of the host, etc. Next, coming to the secondary response. We all know about booster doses. Okay, so this booster dose produce secondary type of immunity. The response of a booster dose differ in a number of ways from the primary response: shorter latent period, production of antibody more rapid, antibody more abundant, antibody response maintained at higher levels for a longer period of time, and the antibody elicited tends to have a greater avidity or capacity to bind to the antigen. Okay, so in primary response, the number of antibody produced is less than secondary response, and when we give booster dose, that time the number of antibody is more rapid and more in numbers in secondary response. Okay, next, coming to humoral immunity under active immunity. So humoral immunity comes from B cell or bone marrow derived lymphocyte. This is called humoral immunity. And next, coming to cellular immunity. It is now well recognized that cellular immunity plays a fundamental role in resistance of infection. It is mediated by the T cell, which differentiate into subpopulation able to help beta lymphocyte. So it is come from T cell in cellular immunity. And third one, active immunity, is combination of the humoral immunity and cellular immunity. So combination means in addition to B and T lymphoid cell, which are responsible for recognizing self and non-self, very often they cooperate with one another. Means it is the combination of the immunity of B lymphocyte and T lymphoid cell. Moreover, many factors are involved in maintenance of immunity. Fatigue, strange surrounding, change of diet, ingestion of drugs, and emotional shock are example for these factors. So here, these are the active immunity and the types of active immunity. Next, coming to the passive immunity. So what is passive immunity? When antibody produced in one body, human or animal, are transferred to another to induce protection against disease. It is known as passive immunity. By administration of an antibody containing preparation by transfer of maternal antibody across the placenta, human milk also contain protective antibody. Means when one baby take breast milk, whatever immunity the mother have, the mother transferring via placenta or via breast milk to the baby, and this type of immunity is called passive immunity. By transfer of lymphocyte also we can produce this type of immunity to induce passive cellular immunity. Passive immunity differs from active immunity in the following respect. These are: immunity is rapidly established, immunity produced is only temporary till the antibody is eliminated from the body, and there is no education of the reticuloendothelial system. Passive immunization is useful for individuals who cannot form antibodies, or for the normal host who takes time to develop antibodies following active immunization. Next, coming to herd immunity. What is herd immunity? Herd immunity provides an immunological barrier to the spread of disease in the human herd. It is the level of resistance of a community or group of people to a particular disease. For example, when an infectious disease is introduced to a virgin population, that is population with a very low or no immunity, the attack and case fatality rate tend to be very high. Next, coming to the elements which contribute to herd immunity are occurrence of clinical and subclinical infection in the herd, immunization of the herd, and herd structure. Herd structure is never constant. It is subject to constant variation because of new births, death, and population mobility. An ongoing immunization program will keep up the herd immunity at a very high level. So we know we have government schedule of immunization for our children up to 5 years. So this type of immunization increase the immunity level of the total herd, means the total community. Okay, so here I am completing the topic immunity. Under immunity I have discussed about active immunity and passive immunity. Under active immunity also I have discussed humoral immunity, cellular immunity, and combination of the both. So thank you. Follow my next class for other new topic.